Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hey there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. This is the finest Bible bistro on the internet, serving up fresh, delicious Bible every single day. Today we're looking at Psalm 10, Part 1, and all this week, actually, Part 1 of Psalm 10. We're reviewing Psalms 9 and 10 in 4 parts. Today's the third part of the 4, and we're looking at verses 5 and 6 today in Psalm 10. And as we've been started yesterday, we're looking at the definition of the wicked man. Today we're going to look at verses 5 and 6, and we'll see the next 4 characteristics of the wicked man, including his own voice. And of course, we know that first-person testimony is always the strongest evidence. And we'll see that here in just a minute. Let me read 5 and 6. His ways are at all times prosperous. Your judgments are higher than he can discern. He puffs at all of his enemies. He says in his heart, I will not slip forever. Forever there will be no evil. All right, that's verses 5 and 6. The first of the ways here, the first of the characteristics, rather, is in verse 5, the very first verse. His ways. Now, there's that accent mark that's not an accent mark that causes a hard break and makes us pause. I've inserted that in my translation, which you can find at my-dailydose.com. You can go there and get the translation. Also, this week, at some time during the week, I'm not sure when, today, tomorrow, sometime, I'm going to put up on Daily Dose, mydailydose.com, on the blog page. Actually, I'm going to write up the definition of the wicked so you can see the whole thing laid out, and I will actually have some notes there and describe some of the items that we're talking about. So check out mydailydose.com. You'll find the translation there, and you'll also find on the blog page a little article that I'm going to write up about the definition of the wicked man. His ways are at all times prosperous. This is maybe the only good thing that we'll say about the wicked man, is that he prospers. And this is not the only time that we see this. Actually, in the great apologetic that David gives us in Psalm 73 about evil and the problem of evil, we have the same thing said about the wicked, that they're prosperous. So a definition of the wicked man is that he prospers. And if you look at the wicked today, most of the wicked are those who are prospering financially. So that's one of the characteristics. And if we were going to say that this is a good one, we could say that, but you don't want to pick from this list and say, well, here's what I want. I want to be prosperous. Well, there's a lot of other things there too. And we'll notice the next one. Your judgments are higher than he can discern. So he has a very low view. Actually, the Hebrew is interesting here because it says, basically the wicked man can't look up. The knowledge is exalted, and he can't see it. He doesn't understand. That's another way to translate this. He doesn't understand the exalted knowledge that you have. The judgments of God are higher than he can know. They just don't penetrate. So even though the wicked man is prosperous, he's a little dull, he's a little slow, and perhaps that's God's judgment on him, so that he doesn't understand the things of God, and so doesn't repent, because God's judgments, they mean nothing to him. He doesn't get them. They don't connect. Number 6 in our list, he puffs at all of his enemies. Another translation, or another way to put that, is he huffs at them. He's like, ha, that's the pride again coming out. He puffs at them like they're a speck of dust. That's all I think about you. You're just a little piece of dust on my veranda. I'm just going to puff you off and you'll be gone. So the 6th thing is his enemies, and he has enemies. Well, he just puffs at them because he doesn't believe anybody's better than he is. And then finally, number 7 here is the voice of the wicked. That's the first of 3 voices. The other 2 are found in verse 11 and in verse 13. So we have the first of the 3, and here he says in his heart, I will not slip forever. Now, probably a better translation is, I will not be moved forever. Nothing's going to move me. I will never be better than. No one's going to do anything to me. I'm not going anywhere. God's not going to judge me. I will never be moved. That's the idea. And I translated the word slip because later on in the Psalter we have these words that God has set them in slippery places, that is, the wicked. So even though he says he won't slip, he's going to slip. But his pride, again, comes out in his language, and so we understand what's in his heart. He says, I'll never be moved. I'm not going to slip, no matter what. There will be no evil, and of course, he intends to say, no evil for me. Not for other people, but for me. So for himself, there's no evil. But what he intends for others is evil. So there's number 4, 5, 6, and 7 in our definition, the character of the wicked man. So I hope you'll join me tomorrow, and we'll look at verses 7 and 8 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.